forgot my wine. I ain't did shit. I'm not getting up now. Too late. Fuck it. Hi guys, so it is finally, I know it's like the 10th, it's the 11th I think of August, but I'm filming my July wrap up. In my defense, it has been hot as fuck here, and as y'all have heard me complain by now several times, I don't have any air conditioning because Washington doesn't apparently believe that you need air conditioning in residential places. So, it's been in the 90s and trying to film with good light, it's too hot. So today it's 68 and raining, so let's bust out some videos. Alright, so for the month of July, I read a total of 17, count them, 17 books. There were 11 ebooks, 4 advanced reader copies, 3 indie books, and 3 audiobooks. Now, I have these because I did 2 readathons in July. I have these broken up because I did a wrap up for Smartathon already, and I'm doing a wrap up for Booktubeathon. So I will go over those briefly and just give you the stats for which was what, and then at the end I will talk about the books that were outside of that readathon. Okay, cool. So Smartathon took place, I can't remember, I'll put the date here, but it was the beginning-ish of July. I will link my wrap up for that one down below, but for it, I read Act Like It by Lucy Parker, which was an ebook, and it was 199 pages. I also read Crash and Burn by Rachel Lacey, which was also an ebook, and 170 pages. I read The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, but I listened to an audiobook, so I didn't count this one as physical. I counted it as an audiobook, and it was 384 pages. I read City of Kings by Brie M. Lewandowski. This was an indie published book, self-published I believe, and an ebook, and it was 157 pages. Then I listened to Any Duchess Will Do by Tessa Dare. This was an audiobook format, and it was 375 pages. Also, lastly, for Smartathon, there was The Duchess Deal, also by Tessa Dare, and I listened to this in audiobook as well, but book format, it's 389 pages. Alright, then there were the 2 books for book club, which I also did a kind of like chatty thing for, so I won't bore you guys with those as well. There was Skinwalker by Faith Hunter, which was an ebook and 320 pages. Then there was Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse, which was 304 pages. Then the books from Booktubeathon, which took place, I want to say July 30th through August 5th-ish. The 2 books that I read inside the month of July for Booktubeathon were Sexy Dangerous by Beverly Jenkins, which is 352 pages, and Caleb by Sarah McCarty, which is 392 pages. Alright, if you want to know star ratings and etc. for those, then check out, link down below, the wrap-ups for these books I've posted. Or you can check out my Goodreads page where I have starred all of them and they are broken up into lists, so you can see my Smartathon list and you can see my Booktubeathon list. And for book club, you can join book club and join the discussions, and I will link book club link down below. It is a urban fantasy and paranormal romance book club, and I am starting to put together chats for those, which I have not participated in yet because I have not gotten to the marker. I've broken them up into 10 chapter discussions. I haven't finished chapter 10 of the book I started for book club, so I haven't jumped in on that discussion yet, but I'll be doing that this weekend hopefully and jumping in there soon. Alright, now for the books that were not part of those for book club, for the month of August, July, the month of July. There is A Vampire's Mail Order Bride by Kristen Painter. This was not a indie published book, I believe, but it was an ebook. I got Kindle. It was like $1.99, $2.99. I gave it 3 stars. It was a very cute paranormal romance about this, I don't even remember the characters' names, this vampire whose grandmother decided she's tired of him being single, so she has set him up through this paranormal dating site, and he has to go along with it, or she's going to take away the ring she gave him that allows him to walk in the daylight. Now, our heroine is actually not initially a member of this like mail order bride e-dating thing. She is very human. Firstly, she has no idea the paranormal even exists, but she witnesses a mob hit type of deal, and in her escape from the mobsters after her, she stumbles into this building that houses a paranormal dating agency, discovers a stack of files because there's no one manning the desk when she happens into the building, and inserts herself, basically trades places with this woman who was intent to be a match for the vampire in this town. Now, this town is a very, very tropey, like Halloween-y town, and that's the kick. It counts, it's like the adult version of Halloween Town, but it's to like throw off the actual paranormals that are walking around there. So they get a lot of tourism and etc. That's how they get their money, but they're also allowed to walk around with their fangs out or half shifted, and everybody just believes it's play for the town. It was okay, it was very cute, but it was also just like the romance was very, very, very speedy. It wasn't quite a novella, it was just like between a full-length novel and a novella, but everything was very rapid paced and it just was cheesy cute. It was okay. I gave it 3 stars. Then I got an arc for Memoirs of a Dragon Hunter by Katie McAllister. Now, I have read Katie McAllister's work before, and Katie McAllister's, I think it was books like Ain't Misbehavin', which I read hers, which are supposed to be kind of cheesy funny. This one is a little away from rom-com and more towards like paranormal romance, which is why the cheesy aspect of it didn't work for me. So in this book, the main character is discovering that she's some kind of dragon hunter. Her half-sister, who she hasn't heard from in years, calls her to come meet her, and she gets there and discovers that she's dying, and she's given her this sword. She's like, basically, you're a dragon hunter now, I'm passing my powers on to you, don't die, and here's my sword, it has a soul in it, or it used to have a soul in it, but it doesn't anymore, so find one and then don't die. It was very weird. That wasn't the problem for me. The problem for me was in the main character's best friend, who just popped up play. Like, they took firstly the paranormal aspect of it. The main character, like, appropriately freaked out. I was like, you tripping, just no, this isn't, no, just no. But the main character's best friend was all over that shit, like white on rice. She was excited as fuck. And she would just insert herself in the middle of situations and be like that one rowdy friend that's like, you better watch it. My friend's a dragon hunter, she'll kick your ass. And her friend's like, bitch, you can't be telling people that. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So it was just a whole lot of that kind of cheesy, corny. And as far as the hero, I'm still not all of a sudden all of the way sure what the hell he is. If he's a dragon or a dragon hunter or like a demon or like a mix of the two. He has moments where he's completely like socially aware, and then he has moments where he's like Kaz from Supernatural, and he's like, I don't understand that reference, but it's not consistent enough for me to believe it. And it was like, it was just really weird and stilted, and it just, but then he'd know how to like drive a car and all this other stuff. So it was like a weird mix of like having no idea what the social norms are for this time, but also maneuvering them fairly well. I didn't really enjoy it, even though it was like cheesy rom-com, like corny, what do they call it? Chick lit. But think of like the cheesiest of chick lit, and then throw in like demons. That's this book. It was 384 pages. I gave it 2 stars. And that was an arc. And I did give it an honest review. Sorry. Memoir of a Dragon Hunter comes out August 28th. The next arc that I got was Sanctuary by Karen Litz. This is a YA sci-fi that's kind of like a space jailbreak type situation. It came out on July 24th. This is another ebook arc that I got from NetGalley. This I gave 3 stars, but it was like a struggle 3 stars. It was like 2.75, maybe 3 stars kind of a situation. And I'm really not even sure why. So the main character is a guard in this prison, but she's like 16 or 17. Her mom is like, I want to say commandant, but that's because I was just listening to Rebirth the Gates. Her mom was like the head guard, the head like commander over the prison, and she's one of the few teens allowed in that role, and it's only because her mom works there. Now, nepotism aside, it's blatantly obvious that she's a teenager and she should not be working basically in this high security prison where there are like supernaturals or unnaturals or kids with powers who are also in there because they were murderous. They're not in this like jail on Earth. They're in this jail that's basically a satellite in the sky so that if they do break out, they can't hurt anyone else because they did some really fucked up stuff. And then she's like, yeah, sure, you want your 17-year-old kid to have a job here? It's cool. Go for it. And then she just kept doing dumb shit. I'm not supposed to be in this area, and if I'm in here, I'll get in trouble. They already have no respect for me. They'll think I'm just being a dumb kid, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Oh look, the prisoners, they're somewhere they're not supposed to be. Just turn around and leave. Just leave. Fuck it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then in moments where she would have gumption like at the most random times and not having what she needed, which is a character thing. It can be, people are like that. It's understandable. It just didn't work for me. I just found myself yelling at her the whole book because she came off a little too stupid to live. And then the romance was wholly weird and not believable between one of the escaped prisoners who she just was talking about like they were wild feral animals and would kill her. And now all of a sudden it's, hey boo, hey. I didn't really like it. I don't remember much about it. I tried to put it out of my mind, to be honest. I wasn't really much of a fan. Sanctuary was a chunker at 480 pages. Then I got this fabulousness, which is Mirage by Smyadite. I'm not going to tell you too much about this one because I'm going to do a separate review for this one, but this one I gave 5 stars, okay? And it comes out August 28th, and I am so ready to buy a hard copy of this book. It's not even funny. This book, a lot of people said it's like The Wrath of the Dawn, and I really don't know why. It's not, it's like, it's sci-fi, for those of you who didn't know. It's like dystopian sci-fi, kind of. So the main character, why can I not ever remember anybody's names? And I took all these notes and didn't write the names down. So the main character is this young woman who, on the eve of transitioning in this ceremony, her people's ceremony, becoming a woman, is kidnapped by this culture that has oppressed her culture. So she's part of this culture that is basically oppressed. Their planet has been occupied. They've basically been taken over and then squished. Like all the things that make them culturally have been kind of systematically stripped away one by one. There are a few things they have left, one of which, you know, is this ceremony that they have to perform in secret. It's not harming anybody, but it's a part of their culture that the people who have oppressed them want stripped away. So they do it in secret. Now soldiers kind of burst into this meeting and took her hostage, only to tell her, you get to play the princess's body double because people keep trying to kill her, and she's not expendable, but bitch you are. It was so good. It was so good. But I will do a full review on this, so I won't even get into all the fabulousness because I can't without spoilers, and the review will be a little spoilery, so I won't release the review until release day of the book. But it comes out August 28th. I gave it 5 stars once again, and it was 320 pages of fucking awesomeness. Then I had another arc. This one is indie as well. It is Phoenix Unbound by Grace Draven. This was another 5-star read. This one does not come out until September 25th, but order it because it's fucking awesome. If you have not read any books by Grace Draven and you like fantasy and romance and fantasy romance, I don't know what the fuck you are doing with your life. Please go get a book of Grace Draven's. They're not expensive. They're available widely in ebook format because she self-publishes. You can also get them through Amazon for like, I think it's like Create Space that she publishes. So I have a couple of paperbacks of hers. They're so good. Damn it. She always has these like imperfect heroines, which I love. Like they're never just like these beautiful, voluptuous with attitudes. Like it's always their personality that shines through. And then like it's acknowledged that, you know, here they may be plain or not as attractive, but the hero always falls in love with them because like inside they're just the shit. And I love her characters so much. And this one, the main female character, Galeen, I think is how you pronounce her name, is basically a yearly sacrifice for her kingdom. Every year, the empire sacrifices in the spring ritual to their gods a female from every, surrounding village, kingdom, what have you. And they're basically dragged into this arena after a bunch of huge gladiator fights and set on fire in a giant pyre for the crowd's amusement. Now, Galeen, who is actually sent every year, is a fire witch. She has fire powers, and that's why she's sent. She has magic, so every year she disguises herself as something different, and she takes the place of a woman who would actually die if they went. Now, even though she can withstand normal fires, the way she has to get out of this particular fire, her magic always backfires on her during her escape. It saps a lot of strength from her and she gets badly burned. Regular fire doesn't, but escaping from this pyre every year burns her and it drains her, as it did her predecessor. So basically the village sends a woman every year, and it's just until their powers backfires on them so much they become like overly burned and warped and just beat up and twisted, and they can't do it anymore, and then they train another girl to take their place. So these women are basically just bred to do this. Once someone hits puberty in that village and their powers show up, they're like, all right, now I can teach you how to disguise yourself, and you get to set yourself on fire every year for the good of our people. Yay, fun! So as you can tell, she's probably not very excited to do this every year. Now, this particular year when she gets there, this main gladiator, Azarian, who was like the headline gladiator, he's like Spartacus, okay? He recognizes her. He, for some reason, because of the magic of his people, can see through her illusion. And he knows that at least that for the last 3 years that he's been paying attention, it's been the same woman. Now, this Spartacus-like dude, Azarian, develops this grand plan to use Galeen to help him escape, and he essentially takes her hostage for his own purpose. I mean, he swears to release her later, but I mean, later, I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to come with me. If you have read anything by Grace Draven, again, you'll know her characters are fucking phenomenal. Galeen herself is not one of my favorite main characters, and I wasn't feeling her as much as, say, the characters from Radiance or Intrigue Me, but the romance was still pretty damn good. It just, this one was a lot slower moving, like not the romance part, but usually the transition is pretty smooth. This one, it was a longer period of time where like she couldn't stand him, so then it kind of snapped into place kind of quick. But her writing is so good, I didn't even give a shit. So of course it was a 5-star read. And again, it comes out September 25th, and that bad boy clocked in at 384 pages. Then I read Built, which is the first book in the Saints of Denver series by Jay Crownover. This is a contemporary romance novel. It is 352 pages, and it is a reread for me. I did not enjoy this reread as much as I enjoyed the original read. I don't know if, because I read it before I started booktube, I don't know if reviewing books has made me more critical, and now I'm just seeing more things. I'm just like, meh. But it wasn't the writing, it was just the character, like the interactions between the female and male character, I didn't care for. So in Built, we have Sayre Cole, who basically is in Denver tracking down her long lost brother, and as she's sitting meeting with him at a bar, the brother's friend, Zebulon Fuller, comes in, and he is highly attracted to her, but she is basically like the epitome of an ice queen, and she's doing it on purpose. It is a protection thing, and she does not want to turn it off because she feels like not only like will that allow people a little too close, it'll allow people to judge the real her and not like her, and she's fine with them not liking her if she's an asshole to them, but she's not okay with them not liking her if she, you know, lets her guard down and they're still like, So the things that I didn't like about this were like their interactions. She's attracted to him as well, but like I said, she's got the whole ice queen thing, and she's like, you're too much, too full of life, you're just not for me, it won't work because you'll hate me later, and I can't do it. But because he is a pretty fucking amazing contractor, she ends up hiring him to do a job despite the fact that he's an ex-con. She don't give a shit about that. So he has never met a woman that's so attractive since he left prison that does not care about his past. He is just like guns blazing. He's all in. He wants her and he knows it, and she wants him and he knows it. Once he knows that though, he's just all full sail, like full fucking sail. Now this is where the problem comes in for me, is that there are a lot of times where he purposefully like overwhelmed her senses in a way that it's one thing to like, you have a couple and they're interacting and they get carried away per se physically, and then later she's like, oh, why did I do that? This is a bad idea. I didn't want to do this. Damn it, I just got carried away. That's something totally different than Zeb consciously going, if I stop kissing her, she's going to tell me no. So this is me purposefully circumnavigating her basically consent. This is me getting around the consent thing. I'm just going to overwhelm her until she can't say anything, let alone no, because I know she doesn't want this. And that's when I was just like, I didn't really catch that the first time. It was just like more of a like passionate, like just super quick, like not even quick, just like this really passionate coming together, like, you know, senses are overwhelmed and it happens. But in this one I paid more attention to the fact that he was like consciously like making the decision to overwhelm her so she couldn't tell him no. And that I didn't as much care for. Also, her voice in the audiobook is annoying as fuck. I'm sorry, but it's not really her voice, it's the intonation she uses, and they're just awkward. They're just awkward. And it's not even like that she is an awkward character, because I listened to the Kiss Quotient audiobook and she's an awkward character. The main character in that one, what is her name? I can't think of her name at the moment. Stella. Stella in the Kiss Quotient is awkward as hell. And her narrative was awkward as hell, but it wasn't like a no, it's just something about the way it was done and built. So I ended up like, again, because the first time I read it, it was audio, I listened to it in audiobook format. This time I tried to do the same thing and I still couldn't get through like 30% of it, and I ended up picking up the Kindle one that I bought the first time I tried to listen to audiobook because it pissed me off. I tried again and I just couldn't do it. But at any rate, Built is over here in this pile somewhere, but it is a 352 pages and the reread for me is 3 stars. Lastly, there's another indie book that I read in ebook format. There is Lake of Living Water by Beth Wangler. This one is kind of a Christian speculative fiction-ish. It is a reimagining of the fall, like biblically the fall. So y'all know how that story ended, right? So I didn't take that into mind when I read this book, but like I said, it's a biblical retelling or reimagining, and it also has like dragons and other talking animals in it. I really enjoyed the creativity of it. I really enjoyed the overall message. It got really sad at the end, but like I said, if you know that story, you kind of know it's coming. But Lauren's a dum-dum and she didn't think of it. But it also had a very positive undertone, despite like the sad ending. Kind of left that hope. There's hope for better still. So that being said, it was still like a gut-wrenching, like heartbreaking kind of ending, but it was also just read it. It's a really short story. I don't have a number of pages for it because it's an ebook, and like I said, it's a really short story. It's a quick read, and it is very impactful for every single word that is in there. Even though usually biblical stories are not my thing, I really enjoyed her writing style, and I gave it 5 stars because it was really good, even for it to be like a genre I normally don't touch. So that again gave me a total for the month of July of 17 books, 11 of which were ebooks, 4 of which were ARCs or advanced reader copies, 3 of which were indie or self-published, and 3 of which were in audiobook format. One new release being Trail of Lightning, and then I read a total of 5,332 pages. That, guys, is my wrap up for the month of July. Let me know if you like this new thing I'm trying with this many audiobooks, this many, I don't know. I see a lot of people do it and that makes a lot more sense, especially because I sit here a lot, and if I don't really care about the book much or didn't like it, I'm like, I don't remember much, but this is why I didn't like it. So I thought it would give you all more information if I tell you how many pages I read, how many were audiobooks, how many were this, how many that. I'm also trying to read at least 1 indie every month. So let me know what you think about that down in the comments. But that's it for this wrap up, guys. I'm really pissed I forgot my wine, but I'll catch y'all later.